All right, Ultimate Hoops Nation. My name is Reid Nelson. This is Izzy Alkafas. This is This Week in Rec. This playoff seeding committee meeting gone wild, I guess. This was kind of weird. We're not redoing that. So so for those of you who don't know, we went a little bit different route. The top 4 GMs actually selected their brackets. We went 20-13 with a pool of play-in teams, and then 12-5 with a pool of play-in teams. So, did this work? And I don't know what work means.
Well, here's what it ended up turning into, like teams conspiring. That's what it did.
Which is no surprise.
No. Did it work? No. I mean, here's what's going to end up happening. It didn't happen as much this time, but it will happen in the future. And it kind of did, like, the Blazers put the Muskies against the top 5, right? So they did that just to take two teams with crossover players and just knock them out, right? Which doesn't necessarily benefit the Blazers.
Not at all.
They just did it to. Like,
they were about 8 and 9. I mean, that's about right.
The Muskies are not. Muskies are not. They took them as the second pick. In that, I mean, I think the Muskies, outside of the free ballers and the Gorillas, I think those are. Muskies shouldn't have been 9. They should have been probably 7. So the Avengers Fob 5 makes more sense. Like, if I'm the Blazers, I'd rather play the Avengers than the Muskies.
Okay.
So that was just kind of more of an FU, which is kind of interesting. Here's what I don't like about the system. The system is going to end up basically the Rebels and the Gorillas are going to play each other every time against the 4 seed. Because what's going to end up happening is, as long as the Gorillas and the Rebels are not top 4 seeds, the teams are going to assume, well, the 4 seed is always going to get stuck with the last pick. And the last pick is usually going to be the Rebels or the Gorillas. Well, their thought is, I might as well pick the Rebels as well, so then I don't have to face them both potentially. So just knock them out at once, and then that way I don't have to worry about them for the rest of the time. That's what I don't like about this system is it's going to take that rivalry, like the Rebels-Gorillas, and it's going to avoid that matchup moving forward. Like, the Rebels-Gorillas finals is never going to happen.
But 8 times out of 10, the Gorillas are going to be in the top 4.
Not necessarily, no.
7 times out of 10, they will.
Maybe. But if they're 4th, they're going to stuck with the Rebels.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So they have to. So the Rebels, one of the Rebels or the Gorillas has to be a top 3 seed to avoid playing each other.
So the Shockers were the 4 seed. How badly? I mean, they're in a tough position. They only chose 2 of their games, or they only chose 2 of their teams. So we debated whether it actually been a benefit to be the 6 seed as opposed to the 4, or the 7 seed, or the 8 seed. How much more difficult is the Shockers bracket than everyone else's?
It's the hardest, and here's why. As the 4 seed, you get the last pick in the play-in game, and you get the last pick out of all the teams that are left. So they got stuck with the Rebels in the Sweet 16 and the Gorillas if they beat the Blue Chips in the Elite 8. So the 4 seed is the worst seed. Actually, probably the 5th seed. The 4th and 5th seed are the 2 worst seeds in the entire bracket. You don't want the 4 or the 5 because of that reason.
So the Shockers. Now, just let me go with this thought for a second. The Shockers could hypothetically play the Rebels in the first round, and the Gorillas in the second round. Okay. The reason why we made a last-second change and went to 2 pools. Okay, because the original thought was to just let the teams pick from 20 to 5.
Yeah.
But you said, and you made a great point, if Aaron was doing it right, he'd have put the Rebels at 20 and the Gorillas at 13, which means he would have only had to play one of those teams. Now they could hypothetically, likely, have to face them both.
Right. And that's the flaw in the system, because if we don't do 2 pools, that's exactly what would have happened. The Shockers would have put the Rebels as a 20 seed, and the Gorillas is a 13 seed, knocked one of them out in the Sweet 16, and now the rest of the bracket can kind of ease up.
But he told me, he said they were going to choose the Barracudas at 20. And I don't know if that's for true or not, but that's what he told me. So it would have worked out.
What happened then? He didn't pick the Cudas at 20.
Well, he didn't now after the new system was in place. I don't know.
No,
Again, we're all on different pages here.
He was going to get stuck with the Rebels. Or the Gorillas at 5. He was
one of them, for sure.
He was absolutely 100% getting stuck with the Gorillas at 5. So instead of putting the Gorillas at 13, he would have just put the Rebels at 12. Either way, the Rebels would have played each other. He's not avoiding those two teams.
Sure. But who's the sixth best team right now?
The sixth best team in the league?
Yeah. Who should have been the 6th seed? Who should have been the 6th seed?
I think the Free Ballers is probably the right spot.
Okay.
I can see the Muskies being the 6th, but the Free Ballers, Muskies, one of the two.
I'm just curious because I was just thinking if the Rebels were, because nobody wants to play the Rebels right now. They're just the Rebels. You don't want to play them. I was thinking if they would have done it honestly, if they would have landed at 6 or 7 or 8, we wouldn't have had to worry about that. But there was a million ways this could have went down. Because I think everybody's got a different mindset right now as to what the strategy is or shouldn't be or whatnot. So 2 questions. Is this a one and done? Is this the last time we do this?
We'll need to potentially tweak the system. What we may have to do is to avoid crossover matchups. We may have to potentially break things up a little bit. The Gorillas Rebels, it sucks that they're going to always play each other, not in the championship. I think that's just been an awesome thing for both those franchises. Now, nobody really gives a shit outside of us. So who really cares? But conspiring against teams kind of sucks. So I guess when people say, oh, well, if you're not a top 4 seed, it doesn't matter. That's kind of true. But if you're not a top 3 seed, it doesn't matter. But you also now got to avoid the playing games, because the playing games now, instead of playing one tough game, you're now going to play 2 tough games if you're a playing game team, and you might play in a crossover. So I think that we'll probably give it one more season, see how it goes. But if it keeps happening where teams just put Muskies fob against each other, or
sure, I feel you.
If the Shockers weren't 4, let's say the Shockers are 5, I can see the Squires putting Magic Johnsons and the Shockers at 11 and then 6 instead of the Free Ballers, hypothetically.
Sure.
Whatever the case may be, and now you are causing a forfeit. So I think that is the flaw in the system. So we got to figure out a way to avoid teams setting up the crossover games. That's the biggest concern, because we don't want teams to take advantage of that.
Yeah, there's just almost no way to do that. The Shockers are not happy, obviously. Is the Blazers big smashing Squires? Did they make out good in this situation?
The Blazers screwed themselves. I don't know why they picked the Muskies. That was dumb. The big smash. The Squires have the easiest road. The only team that they really need to worry about is the Free Ballers. Big Smash. Actually, probably Big Smash has the easiest road. I mean, Bulls North have been really poor this season. Miller Time is a team they shouldn't have a problem with. Heights are no good, and then the Avengers are subpar. I'm making the Heights earn the respect.
Only been here for one season.
They got to earn the respect. We've seen teams like the Heights before. They come in one season, they kind of impress against bad teams. They get overinflated, and then they
lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Lose in the first round. So we'll see how they go. I'm rooting for them. I like the new teams coming and being successful, but I don't crown any team until they've proven it. The Shockers got that bracket. Shockers, Red Devils, Rebels, Blue Chips, Gorillas. That is just absurdly hard. And here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Shockers. Instead of picking the Blue Chips to play the Gorillas, that was kind of dumb on their part. They had the first pick. Instead of picking the Blue Chips, why don't you pick
the Free Ballers?
The Heights. Let's say you pick the Heights. Why wouldn't you pick the Heights at 12, hope that somehow there's an upset, and then you can play the Heights? Because now you're either playing the Blue Chips or the Gorillas. right?
Yeah.
So hypothetically, you want to pick a team that you think that you can beat, or is going to be an easier matchup that might give the Gorillas fits, right? The Blue Chips are a tough team. So that I don't get. They could have even went the Avengers and had the Noe Chris Maher,
Sure.
And made it easier on themselves a little bit. I thought it was a very interesting selection to pick two tough teams because they're going to have to play one of them both ways. 2013, no matter what happens, they're going to play a tough team.
Who advances from each bracket?
I'm not even that four. I could see the Gorillas, Blue Chips, Rebels, Shockers coming out of that. I have no idea. Out of the Squires bracket, I see the free ball. I'm gonna go free ballers on that one. I think Karma's gonna bite the Squires for picking against their own teams, against their own team. Out of the Blazers group, I think the Muskies are gonna advance, and then out of the Big Smash group, Big Smash is gonna go. So I think it's gonna be.
Did you say Muskies?
The Muskies in the 1 seed. So I think it's going to be Big Smash, Muskies, Squires, and God knows what in that 4-12 or 4-20-13-12-5. It could be any four of those teams. I don't think the Red Devils will make it, but any of those four other teams could.
Tuesday playing games are where, Aaron?
Fridley.
They're in Fridley. Tuesday's playing games are in Fridley. We will see you there Wednesday, as always, in Bloomington. Thursday, Elite 8 back in Fridley. I enjoyed this. This was fun.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. We had good video, I think. I think Aaron caught a lot of trash talking. Kyle Mead is going to be the most hated player in rec very soon if his teams keep going in the top four because he's very good on camera. He's good at stirring the pot. Abdi's going to be gunning for Kyle.
All right, everyone. See you on Tuesday. Nobody understands what anybody is talking about right now. Nobody gets anything. We're all on different pages.